Good morning all, or should I say hello world, and welcome to my new Python tutorial series. It's called CodeBytes, and it's going to be very short 5-minute videos just covering some of the basics of Python, what you need to know to get started writing code. So in front of me here you can see I have a Python window open. This is called idle. Now idle is a very basic editor for Python. We can use this to write code, run code, and generally do Python-y things. So there's going to be a download link underneath the video for where you can head to find this. You can notice I'm using something called Python 2.7. This is actually outdated now. I'm into a bit of a bad habit of still using it. The latest version of Python is Python 3. I think 3.1 is currently the most up-to-date version, and I would advise using that. There are some differences between the two, however, they're very minor, and for the purposes of at least the start of these videos, there's no differences that are going to change the way that we understand how Python works. So let's get started and let's talk a little bit firstly about this thing, the shell. So a shell is something that we can use to run bits of information. If you've ever seen one of these terminal windows, this is a type of shell known as a bash shell, and I can do things like ls, which will list things in my directories. I can do something called cd. I can change directory into, here you can see my movies directory that I've listed, and I can cd into that, change directory, and then list all the things in there, and you can see I've got a number of movies here. This shell is very similar, except it doesn't run Unix code. So this is a Unix environment is Mac. That's similar to the Windows DOS, disk operating system. This is actually using something called Unix, which is very similar to how Linux works, but we're not going to be running Linux commands or Unix commands. We're going to be running Python commands, and we can do things like print hello world. Okay. What's going to happen when I hit enter now, when I've put this piece of code, is it's going to take this code and it's going to interpret it. And the way that we can interpret this code is I've used something called the print function, and we'll talk about functions more in later weeks. But the print function has had a parameter. We'll talk about them in later weeks as well. But a parameter is basically a way of passing information. And we've passed this hello world parameter to the print function. And all it's going to do is it's going to print out hello world. So it's going to take this string literal, hello world, and it's going to print it. Now, what happens if I want to print hello world again? Well, I have to type again, print hello world. And again, I'm going to have to say print hello world. So using this shell, it can be very useful at times if you want to do small things. But if you're writing a big piece of code, then it makes things very difficult because you have to keep typing stuff over and over. So what we're going to do today is we're going to move over to this, which I set up by saying file, new file in my idle window, and this popped up, and I've saved it as hello world.py. .py is just an extension which tells the computer the contents of this file is Python code. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that same piece of code, print hello world, I'm going to type it into there, and now, instead of having to click enter to run this, all I need to do is hit, well, either I can go to run and say run module, but notice that I can also just press my F5 button, and that's what I'm going to do now. And notice, here it says restart users / the billing turn / documents teaching tutorials Python CodeBytes hello world.py. So what it's done is it's taken this hello world.py and it has ran the code inside of it. And if I want to run that again, I just do the same thing. I can just press F5 over and over, and every time I press F5, it's going to run the code. I don't have to type it in over and over, so I've got a way of storing Python code to then use it later or run it at a later stage. So I think that's all we're going to do for today's tutorial, guys. I hope you've learned something, just a quick introduction to Python. And what we'll do is in future weeks we're going to cover a lot of the things that I've mentioned today. So I said string literal, what's a string, what is a string literal? Print is a function, what is a function? What is a parameter and how do they work? how can I write my own functions? How can I write many functions to start building up complex code? We're going to look at all of those things in the coming weeks. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Once again, the download link is going to be in the description of the video, and I'll see you next time.